is completely controlled by the Israeli government, and they're going to do the Israeli government's bidding.
So get used to hearing from these dirtbags that say this, because Rogan, Candace, this moron, all of these leftists, this is what they're going to push. That's all they're going to push. It's part of that fake empathy too that goes along with it. Oh, the poor Palestinians, and it's all fake, because I mean, like, they're all people that don't give a shit about the veterans that are homeless or care about any Americans, but then they suddenly have this empathy, which is why on the left I call it fake. It's fake empathy. It's just to rile people up, like get them so emotional about the issue, so that then they can generate fake empathy and then rage in you. They sort of did this during the George Floyd thing. Yeah, the mainstream media did. So the podcasters, they're really pushing this. And, just interesting, they happen to all be, former leftists. What do you know, Candace, Rogan? Well, they're all still leftists, let's face it. So they're going to have a coronary because, well, they just are because of this. Inside Trump's jihadist elimination unit at the White House, Senior Director Sebastian Gorka details how POTUS has done 180 counterterrorism policy compared with Biden. This is a long article, so I'm not going to read it, but I will highlight a few things. One is that, so a jihadist unit in the White House means, no, we're dealing with this time, because this is my entire lifetime. These elements, these terrorist organizations, they have to be dealt with, okay? And so what you're going to see is you're going to see the breakdown, the emotional, carrying on about Palestinian students being deported. Well, you know what? Maybe that's what needs to be done because of all the shit that's come in here. Because literally this goes on to talk about how under Biden, they were allowed to watch the jihadists in this Somalia cave, but the military was allowed to do nothing. So when Gorka and Mike Waltz, who's the head of National Security, went to Trump, this was in the first 3 weeks of his administration, Trump said, kill them now. And it was done. Yeah, through, they blew the cave out. So, and that was the third week of his administration. So Candace, Redacted, Joe Rogan, all the other Nazi networks that are going to carry on about, they're deporting Palestinians. Yeah, you know what? If it's going to keep America safe, if they were even walking near any of the Hamas, get them out of here. Get them out of here. That's terrorism. We don't need it in our country. Joe Biden let a ton of it in, and that's just one sect. So this goes on to talk about how, with Trump saying he's going to take over Gaza, he's like, people that haven't read Art of the Deal don't realize that, Trump is not, planning to go into Gaza and build Trump towers and stuff. No, what he's doing is he's exploding the Overton window, so that people in the region will start talking and start thinking differently, like, hey, nobody's helped the Palestinians for 50 years. All these people are getting killed in Israel and in Palestine, so we need to start thinking different. So what Donald Trump does is he throws a grenade and blows the Overton window up so that people start talking. And so now that's happening because people in the region are like, what does he mean he's coming in taking? See, they don't want that. So yeah, this shit with ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Hezbollah. Okay, this goes into a lot of Hezbollah. Hezbollah has been around. They're usually out of Lebanon. They are a proxy arm of Iran. So is Hamas. So is most of these, okay? They are proxy terrorist arms of Iran. All right? And all of this stuff that you see, this propaganda coming out of Palestine, is what it is. It's propaganda. And because the Nazi networks like Candace and Joe Rogan will only care about, they only seem to have empathy when it comes to the Palestinians. They could care less when it happens to the Jews or when our veterans are being, totally shit all over here. But then I don't look at these people as being about America's interest. They serve that Nazi agenda. So that will upset many people. But if you want to be pulled into that trap, let me just tell you, in this article, they praise Mossad. And I said earlier, I said, no, Mossad, everybody's given Mossad this bad image because, Jeffrey Epstein. And has there ever been any proof to that yet, that Jeffrey Epstein was part of Mossad? It has been said. I don't know that there's proof, and even if there is, it doesn't mean that everybody in Mossad is somehow dark and needs to be destroyed. They have been a help to America, okay? I mean, there was a time the CIA, was good to America. But this actually praises Mossad because of some of the things that have helped in the region. And the fact is, Biden and Obama screwed Israel over time and time and time and time and time again. And you will never hear fucking Joe Rogan say that. You will never hear Candace say that, okay? Because they get paid to push their bullshit Nazi agenda. I don't want this shit. I don't care if somehow some student gets sent back to Palestine and they just were totally innocent, which I find hard to believe that Trump's not trying to send innocent students back. But if they do, oh well, because America needs to come first. And there's a ton of these people that have gotten in and they think they're going to use our laws against to try to advocate for them being able to rip all over Israel and march with terrorist organizations. If that's the American you want to be, then you're not a fucking American. Make it very clear. And yes, nobody will like hearing that because you have all been hoodwinked by this bullshit for years now. So if you don't want to snap out of that and see that AIPAC is not like, I see this AIPAC shit and it's like, I'm like so sick of it. It's totally, totally designed by the very people that fund and support the damn terrorist organizations that get kids to put bombs to their chest and go in and blow up a fucking bus. Sick of it. And they've done a great job. The psychological operation that has been, the PSYOP that has been done on the American people when it comes to Israel, they did perfectly because they pulled so many in. So many. I mean, I even was getting pulled into some of it. But then when they became upset, I'm like, whoa, whoa. Now you have gone to the place where the Jews are to blame for everything. And it's like, wait, no, I know that ain't true. I know that Israel doesn't set out to kill Palestinians, okay? They do Hamas, but then Hamas is such a bunch of low-life filth, okay, that they surround themselves with innocent Palestinians. They don't give a shit about them. They do more harm to them than Israel ever does. So America is damn determined that this problem with Israel will get taken care of. And if the Redacted channel, and if Rogan, and if Candace Owens and all the other Nazi networks want to carry on, then all you show is that you don't support America. But then why don't you just be honest about it? You were all leftists after all. Something else that will upset them very much, okay, they likely will have a heart attack on their show, is that yes, in this article, Netanyahu is praised, and so is Mossad, as I said, because after having to be under, the Biden, because America controls Israel. If you want to believe the absolute bullshit that Netanyahu, and they said this shit some 20 years ago, because Netanyahu was a leader who was back, like right before 9/11 or after, somewhere around there. That's when I remember seeing him, because there they can run more than once. And they were saying the same shit then, that Bush was his puppet. If you think that Donald Trump is anybody's puppet, well then you're not a very smart person. But we control Israel. Israel listens to us. But we don't look at it as we control them. We work with them. Candace Owens and these Nazi networks, they hate the Jews. This has been why they have all these followers. If you want to continue to believe this bullshit, then you are going to find that they will get you to hate Donald Trump. And I'm just here to tell you that, well, you'll be on the wrong side of history if you do that.